Welcome back, everyone, to the HNL Movement podcast. I have one of the best people to talk to. We have some great conversations every time you're back home, and thanks so much for joining us today. But no introduction necessary. Let's welcome Manti Te to the podcast.
What's up, bro?
How's it going?
Good to see you.
We're just talking about it. The last time we talked was probably around maybe a little over 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing, every time you come home, we're both constantly growing or constantly looking to improve at whatever we're doing. So like you mentioned before, 2 years ago, I mean, we were completely in a different space, good space, but there's so much that has happened in 2 years. Before we get into everything that you're doing, even your recent stint with the Bears, let's talk about you growing up. I want to get into your story, because I always tell athletes that, you know, it's consistent things that you do throughout your lifetime. That's what makes the progress. Yes, the habits. So why don't you start there? Just start by how it was like growing up, what kind of sports you played, and let's dive into that.
So I grew up in Laie, on the North Shore, and I grew up like every other local boy, you know, just family. Matter of fact, I'll start to kind of unwrap that a little bit, because I think the Hawaii I grew up in is a lot different than the Hawaii now. The Laie I grew up in is a lot different than the Laie now. There's a lot of, we were just joking about it earlier. We see some people playing basketball, and you know, that's kind of like a phenomenon now, like to see people outside playing around, getting active, being with friends, you know, and family and stuff like that. So when I grew up not too long ago, everybody was out. You know, to be in on a Game Boy or be in on an iPod, iPad, laptop, whatever, that just wasn't something that people did, you know. So a lot of my childhood was centered around being outside with my friends, playing basketball, football, whatever it was, you know, whoever had any type of ball. You had a basketball, we're playing basketball. Football, we played football. We all knew the kid on the street who had the portable rim, and so we would all go play at his house, you know. So that's how I grew up, and it's such a beautiful childhood. You know, I'm very, very fortunate, and that's why I always come back home is not only to, you know, enjoy the sun, the people, but to remind myself of who I am, you know. And I don't think you can totally do that until you've been home. And so my parents, their names are Brian and Otilia Te'o. I grew up in a very athletic family. My mom, especially my mom's side, my grandfather, Luis Santiago, he's a well-known football player out of Kuku, played at BYU Provo. All my uncles played football, majority of them for University of Hawaii. They all came out of Kuku. My mom was a Gatorade Player of the Year at Kuku, you know, so I was going to be an athlete, you know. And then Dad's family, all his family, they were athletes. Dad was a fullback at Kuku, so... And then I went to Puno, you know, so, you know, but all of those qualities and characteristics that I have and that I've been taught, were taught by my parents. And then as I grew up, as evolution, as we talked about it, as you mature, you try to do better. You know, we talked about the last time we sat together and how we're like, man, that person. A good person, but it's just different. Like, we're a lot different now, and in some ways we're the same. But at the same time, I think to say that if we were to sit across this table now, a couple years later, and to say we're the same, I think that would mean that we really haven't done anything, you know. So you always want to progress, and I'm happy to say that, you know, those times are good times, but now we're in today, and you know, we're in a lot better place. And I think. And when we sit down the next time, whenever that would be, you know, hopefully sooner than later, that we'll be in a different place, you know, and we'll continue to progress like that. So yes, all started childhood.
Continuing to grow. I mean, that's the one thing that you teach me a lot, and I think you elevate everyone around you to constantly try to grow and get better at whatever you're doing. And that's so true. What you said is that in Hawaii, you know, everyone grew up outdoors. I mean, we didn't have all of the electronics and technology, which was a good and bad thing again, right? But just being outdoors, what was it like when you were young? Were you playing all of these sports, or did you find football at an early age, or how did that play out for you?
Well, you know, it's funny. So I played all the sports. I played football, obviously, basketball, baseball, and then my freshman year I ran track. And so it's a funny story about all 4 of them. So everybody knows about football. I was going to play football when I came out the womb. Like when I came out the womb, everybody was like, he playing football. Basketball was something that always followed football. So our family truly believed in being a multi-sport athlete. And I, for kids that want to be a one-sport athlete, that's cool. But I think there's so much to playing so many different sports that it also helps facilitate you as a single sport athlete. So there are a lot of things that I learned in basketball, baseball, hand-eye coordination, different disciplines and different sports that helped me to be a better football player. And I wouldn't have learned those if I just played football, So I played basketball. I don't know what it is with basketball. Some years I was good, some years I weren't. I remember my junior year. Yes, my junior year, I actually made the All-State tournament team.
Okay.
Because, I did pretty good. My senior year, I was that guy that you foul that guy at the end of the game so that you put him on the line so he misses his free throws. I was that guy they put on the free throw. I remember we were playing, I forget who we were playing, but we were playing at Punahou. And I went to the free throw line, and for some reason, I would airball free throws. But it was hilarious because I would airball free throw, and everybody kind of knew who I was. That was my senior year. Everybody knew me from football. That nobody would laugh, And so I'd look around at the, in the basketball stadium and look around, and nobody would say anything. They would kind of just sit there. There was, now I look back on it, I was all shamed. I was like, just airball or something. But like, the beauty of Hawaii, like nobody want to make shame of you. You know what I mean? They'll just sit there and be quiet, I guess, because they knew who I was or whatever. But my basketball success kind of varied from year to year. Yep. Baseball, my dad always claimed that I was better at baseball than any other sport. But I hated baseball. And I hated baseball because I was scared of the baseball. Because, like on my side of the island, there are no turf baseball fields. You're playing at a park and there's crabgrass everywhere.
Divots, rocks, everything.
And so that ball is juking you out as it's hit towards you, and I was a shortstop. So like that ball would always come fast, and my dad was my coach. And so you have a big solar just swinging the bat and hitting the grounder to you. And I can't tell you how many times I got hit in the face by the baseball. And I always crack jokes on people. I was like, listen, I am more scared of that little white ball than I am of the 300+ pound linemen that I go against in the NFL. Like, I don't fear them at all. But that little white ball, I'm done, So that was, I played baseball, I think just Little League, and that was it. I was like, I'm never playing baseball again, bro. Like,
yeah. Well, I didn't even know that you played baseball in Little League.
Yeah.
But even that, it teaches you some different skills than football, right?
Yeah.
How to move, how to track hand-eye coordination and all of that.
Yeah.
But I think everyone that goes growing up playing baseball, that is the one thing that you have to overcome. Just constantly getting drilled by the baseball. That is something that all kids go through. Yeah.
Bro, it was bad. Like, so I was a shortstop, and then sometimes I'll play pitcher. And bro, whoever was the batter, I would pray like I wouldn't beat him, bro. Like, cause I would try my hardest to throw a strike, bro. But all I knew was I was gonna throw it as hard as I could, and wherever it went, hopefully it went straight into the glove. But sometimes it happened to go straight for the batter, bro. And there's one time in Little League, Little League, it starts off T-ball, then coaches pitch, and then player pitch. So it was my first year of player pitch.
So you were young still.
I was young, bro.
Yeah.
There was a girl that came up to bat. It's a co-ed, Little League, a co-ed.
Yeah.
And bro, I was like, oh. I remember I looked at my dad. It was at Hola Playground, Hola Beach Park.
Okay.
Not Hola Beach Park, Hola Playground by Hola Elementary. That's where we played. And I looked at my dad, and my dad looked. He's like, "Come on, go." I was like,
"Oh no!"
And I hit her.
Oh,
and
no.
I remember I started crying because I thought my dad was going to lick me for hitting the girl, Brad. I remember that. I was like, it's okay, it happens. I was like, oh, I just hit a girl, But like, that was my baseball experience. I enjoyed it because it was just another sport, and it helped me to be a better athlete all around, you know. And then the least favorite was track. I ran track for 1 year. My mom's oldest brother, Manko Keala, he is a star track athlete.
Okay.
Some people may know my cousin Janae Santiago. She was a track athlete at University of Hawaii. That's his daughter.
Okay.
And so he was a track athlete. So my 9th grade year, when I was back at Koku, he was like, "Nephew, you're gonna run for me." I said, oh, "Okay." And I remember my first track meet, you know, straight like football mentality. You know, I'm out there. First of all, the shorts was like really short because I'm big. I was big for my age, you know, and like I'm like taller than everybody, and like everybody's like up to my shoulder, you know, and I'm like, oh, bro, I'm finna smoke these guys, you know. And we're at Mililani, and you know, they always say the fourth and fifth lane. That's the lane where they put the fast people. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was in the 4th lane. So I was in one of those middle lanes. So I was kind of feeling confident. I was like, oh, they already know like I'm fast, you know, bro. It's a 100-meter dash. I took off. Now my get off has always been good, you know, like I've always been quicker than fast. So I out the blocks, I was gone. The first 20 meters, I was in the front. The last 80. Bruh, all I saw was just people just passing me, bruh, just gone, you know. And I thought to myself, like, okay, you know, that was lucky, you know what I mean? That was lucky they beat me, bro. I ran that whole season getting smoked, bro. And so I told my dad, bro, and this is the competitor in me. It's either the competitor or the loser, bro. I told my dad, I cannot run track. He was like, why? I was like, because I can't win. He was like, well, run faster. I was like, Dad, I'm running as fast as I can, bro. I can't play a sport where I'm not the best at it. And that was the first and last year that I ever ran track, bro. And that was it, bro. But you figure, like, guy my size, we throw shot put, discus. No, bro. Well, all the solos, you're going to run the 100-meter dash, bro.
I mean, it's so interesting to hear these kind of stories because I bet you it's just like yesterday. How you remember all of these events. It's just like yesterday. But all of these things kind of paved the way into what you decided to do and eventually specialize into football, right?
Yeah.